運がない、運が悪いと、そう言って天を仰いで嘆いている者が実に多い。ことをなす前から、どうせ自分など、と心を腐らせている者が後を絶たない。断言する。それは、君たちが何かを怠っているからではない。むしろ逆だ。やらなくてもいい余計なことばかりに、限りある命の力を使い果たし、自ら幸運の女神から嫌われるようなことばかりしているからなのだ。もう、やめるのだ。無駄な抵抗は、意味のない努力は、今すぐ、その必死の形相で握りしめているオールを手放しなさい。何もせず、ただ、これから私が言う。たった一つのことだけをやりなさい。さあ、皆の衆、よく集まってくれた。私は中村天風という。かつて、この日本という国で、いかにすれば人間が、その命を最も尊く、強く、そして幸福に輝かせることができるのか、その真理を説いて回った男だ。今日、私が君たちに語るのは、人生で最も大切な法則の一つ。それは、運というものが、我々のもとへといかにして流れてくるのか、その仕組みについてだ。多くの人間が勘違いをしている。幸運とは、がむしゃらに追い求め、力ずくで掴み取るものだと思ってはいないか。寝る間も惜しんで働き、他人を蹴落とし、先へ先へと焦り続ければ、いつかその手にすることができると信じてはいないか。全くの間違いだ。そんなやり方では、幸運は瞬く間に君の前から逃げ去っていく。まるで、慌てて捕まえようとすればするほど、手のひらからこぼれ落ちていく砂のように。いいか、運というものは、追いかける者のもとへはやってこない。運は、ただ、それを受け入れる準備のできた人間のもとへと、まるで、川の水が低い場所へと自然に流れていくように、吸い寄せられていくものなのだ。だからこそ、私は今日、君たちにこう命じる。何もせず、あることをせよ。と、奇妙に聞こえるかね。だが、これが真理なのだ。君たちが今、人生を好転させるために必死でやっていること、そのほとんどが、実は幸運を遠ざけるための努力になってしまっている。信じられないかね。では、これから、私が長年の人間観察を通して見抜いてきた、運に見放される人間の共通点を、一つ一つ、君たちの目の前に突きつけてやろう。耳の痛い話になるかもしれん。しかし、本気で自分の人生を変えたいと願うならば、腹を据えて、この天風の言葉に耳を傾けるのだ。まず、運を呼び込みたいのなら、今すぐやめねばならんことがある。それは、不安と恐怖に駆られて、闇雲にジタバタと動き回ることだ。考えてもみたまえ。嵐の吹き荒れる真っ暗な海の上で、一人の船頭が必死になってオールを漕いでいる。どこが岸なのか、どちらが目的地なのかもわからぬまま、ただこの嵐から逃れたい一心で、無我夢中で水をかいている。その男は、果たして目的地にたどり着けるだろうか。いや、できはしない。それどころか、体力を無駄に消耗し、やがては力尽きて転覆するか、ますます岸から遠ざかってしまうのが関の山だ。賢い船頭ならどうするか。まずは、動くのをやめるのだ。そして、心を落ち着け、嵐が過ぎ去るのをじっと待つ。やがて雲が切れ、空に星々が輝き始めたとき、その星の位置を確かめ、自分が進むべき方角を定めてから、初めて、静かに、そして力強くオールを漕ぎ出すのだ。人生という航海も、これと全く同じなのである。世の中には、この哀れな船頭のような人間が、あまりにも多い。仕事がうまくいかない。人間関係がこじれた。予期せぬ病に見舞われた。人生の嵐に巻き込まれたとき、彼らはすぐさまパニックに陥り、何かしなければ、何か手を打たなければと、見当違いの方向に向かって、ただただ無駄なエネルギーを浪費する。焦って転職を繰り返しては、どこへ行っても同じ問題にぶつかる男。嫌われたくない一心で、八方美人に媚びを売り、かえって誰からも信用されなくなる女。病気の不安から、次から次へと新しい健康法に飛びついては、どれも長続きせずに心をすり減らしていく老人。彼らは皆、良かれと思って必死にオールを漕いでいるつもりなのだ。だが、その行動の源泉にあるのは何か。それは、 積極的な信念ではない。ただ、現状に対する不安と恐怖だけだ。恐怖から発した行動は、必ず、さらなる恐怖を引き寄せる。これが宇宙の厳然たる法則なのだ。だから、まず、何よりも先に、その無益なジタバタをやめるのだ。問題が起きた時こそ、心を静かにし、状況を冷静に見つめるのだ。何もしない時間を持つことを恐れてはいけない。それは停滞ではない。力を蓄え、進むべき正しい方向を見定めるための、最も重要で、最も積極的な時間なのだ。嵐の中でオールを手放す勇気を持て。そうすれば、運命の星が、君の進むべき道を、必ずや、その行く先に照らし出してくれるだろう。次にもう一つ、幸運の女神から心底嫌われる、実に救いようのない習慣がある。それは、口を開けば、不平、不満、愚痴、泣き言をこぼすことだ。これもまた、世にはびこる実にたちの悪い病気だと言わざるを得ない。政治が悪い、社会が悪い、上司が悪い、家族が悪い、自分の人生がうまくいかないのを、すべて自分以外の誰かや何かのせいにして、文句ばかりを垂れ流している人間がいる。こういう人間は、自分で自分の人生の畑に、毎日毎日、せっせと毒をまき続けているようなものだ。そして、その毒が染み込んだ畑を見ては、なぜ自分の畑には、美しく、栄養のある作物が実らないのだと、さらに文句を言うのだ。滑稽千万、笑止千万とはこのことだ。いいか、言葉というものはな、単なる音の振動ではない。君が発する一言一句には、君の心の状態が、色濃く反映されたエネルギーが宿っているのだ。そして、そのエネルギーが、君の周りに、その言葉通りの現実を引き寄せるのだ。これを、因果の法則という。不平不満を口にするとき、君の心はどんな状態かね。暗く、冷たく、よどんで、トゲトゲしくなってはいないか。その心の状態が、言葉という乗り物に乗って、君の世界に解き放たれるのだ。そして、類は友を呼ぶ。という法則通り、その暗く冷たいエネルギーは、同じ種類の暗く冷たい出来事や人間を、磁石のように君の元へと引き寄せてくる。だから、不満を言えば言うほど、さらに不満を言いたくなるような状況が次々と生まれてくるのだ。まさに、自業自得。自分で蒔いた種を、自分で刈り取っているに過ぎない。私が長年、世の中の人間を観察してきて、これだけは間違いないと確信していることがある。運の良い人間、成功している人間、人から慕われる人間というものは、決して、他人の悪口や、環境に対する不平不満を口にしないものだ。彼らは、どんな状況の中にあっても、そこに感謝すべき点を見つけ出し、それを口にする。たとえ、コップに半分しか水が入っていなくとも、もう半分しかないとは言わない。まだ半分もあると、その恵みに感謝するのだ。この、心の態度の、ほんのわずかな違いが、人生に天と地ほどの差を生むのだということを、彼らは本能で知っているのだ。だから、君も今すぐ、その毒を吐き出すのをやめるのだ。どんなに辛い状況にあっても、どんなに理不尽だと感じることがあっても、意識して感謝の言葉を口にするのだ。今日、目が覚めたこと、呼吸ができること、雨風をしのげる家があること、一杯の水を飲むことができること、当たり前だと思うかね。とんでもない。その当たり前こそが奇跡なのだということに気づかねばならん。その奇跡に心から感謝し、ありがたい、幸せだという言葉を口癖にするのだ。はじめは、心が伴わなくても構わん。形からでいい。言葉が心を作り、心が現実を作るのだ。感謝の言葉は、君の心の畑を豊かに耕す、最高の肥料なのだ。その豊かな土壌にこそ、幸運という名の、見事な果実が実るのだということを、決して忘れてはならない。さらに、運を自ら遠ざけてしまう、もう一つの愚かな行いがある。それは、他人を自分の思い通りに変えようと、躍起になることだ。これもまた、多くの人間が陥りがちな、深刻な過ちだ。言うことを聞かない子供を、力ずくで従わせようとする親。 自分の価値観を部下に一方的に押し付けようとする上司、自分勝手なパートナーの性格をどうにかして強制しようと、毎日、口うるさく説教を繰り返す配偶者。彼らは皆、善意からやっているつもりかもしれん。相手のためを思って、良かれと考えているのかもしれん。だが、その行いの根底にあるのは、結局のところ、自分の思い通りに相手をコントロールしたいという、傲慢な欲望に他ならない。考えてもみたまえ、庭に一本、少し曲がって生えている若木があったとする。気の短い庭師は、その木を無理やり、力ずくで、まっすぐにしようと引っ張るだろう。その結果、どうなるか。木は、ぽきりと無残に折れてしまうのがオチだ。優れた庭師は、決してそんなバカな真似はしない。彼は、まず、その木の性質をよく観察する。そして、なぜ曲がってしまったのか、その原因を考える。日当たりが悪いのかもしれない。隣の木に邪魔されているのかもしれない。そして彼は、無理に木を曲げようとはせず、支えとなる添え木を優しく、あてがってやったり、周りの枝を剪定して、太陽の光がよく当たるようにしてやったりするのだ。つまり、木そのものを変えようとするのではなく、木が自らの力で、まっすぐに伸びていけるような環境を整えてやるのだ。すると、木は、誰に強制されるでもなく、自らの生命力で、太陽に向かって、すくすくと、まっすぐに伸びていく。人間関係も、これと全く同じ原理で成り立っている。君には、君以外の人間を直接的に変える力など、ありはしないのだ。それは、神ですら、なさらないことだ。一人一人の人間には、その人間固有の意志と自由がある。それを無視して、自分の価値観という枠の中に、相手を無理やり押し込めようとすれば、そこには必ず、反発と抵抗が生まれる。そして、その関係は、やがて壊れてしまう。他人を変えようとすればするほど、君の心は、相手への怒りや失望で満たされ、エネルギーは消耗し、運気はどんどん下がっていくのだ。では、どうすればいいのか。答えは、実に簡単だ。他人を変えようとする、その無駄な努力を、きっぱりとやめるのだ。そして、そのエネルギーのすべてを、自分自身を変えること、自分自身の心を高めることに集中させるのだ。君が本当に変わるべきは、他人ではない。いつだって、君自身なのだ。君が、太陽のように明るく、前向きな心で、いつもにこやかに生きていたらどうなるか。君が、どんな時でも、相手の良いところを見つけ、心からの称賛と感謝の言葉を伝える人であったら、どうなるか。君が、他人の欠点をあげつらうのではなく、その人の成功を、我がことのように喜べる大きな心を持っていたら、どうなるか。君の周りの人間は、君という太陽の光に照らされ、おのずと、良い方向へと変わっていかざるを得なくなるのだ。まるで、優れた庭師が整えた環境の中で、若木が自然にまっすぐ育っていくように、コントロールしようとするのをやめたとき、初めて、君は、最も効果的に、周りの世界に良い影響を与えることができるようになる。そして、そんな君の周りには、自然と素晴らしい人々が集まってくる。これが、幸運な人間関係を引き寄せる、唯一にして、絶対の法則なのだ。そして、これまでの話を根底から支える、最も重要な教えを、今から話そう。それは、過去を悔やみ、未来を憂うという、最も不毛な心の習慣を、今、この瞬間から断ち切るということだ。これは、人間という生き物が、最も陥りやすい罠だと言えるかもしれん。我々の心は、実に、移ろいやすい。放っておけば、すぐに、もう取り返すことのできない過去の失敗を思い出しては、ああすればよかった、こうすればよかったと、くよくよと後悔を始める。あるいは、まだ来てもいない未来のことを想像しては、もし病気になったらどうしよう、仕事がなくなったらどうしよう、孤独になったらどうしようと、勝手に不安を作り出しては、怯え始める。多くの人間は、その人生の貴重な時間の大部分を、この過去への後悔と 未来への不安という二つの幻影の中で無駄に生きているのだ。これは例えるなら自動車を運転しながらバックミラーばかりをずっと見つめているようなものだ。後ろばかり気にしているから目の前の道が全く見えていない。これでは目の前のチャンスを見逃すどころか思わぬ障害物にぶつかって大事故を起こしてしまうのは当たり前の話ではないか。あるいはまだ何マイルも先にある蜃気楼のような目的地にばかり気を取られて足元にある大切な宝物や危険な落とし穴に全く気づかずに歩いている旅人のようなものだ。いいか、よく聞け。我々が本当に生きることができるのは過去でもなく未来でもない。ただ今この瞬間だけなのだ。この当たり前のようでしかしほとんどの人間が忘れてしまっている宇宙の根本的な真理にまず気づかねばならん。君の力、君の命、君の可能性、そのすべては今というこの一点にしか存在しないのだ。過去の出来事はそれがどんなに輝かしい成功であれ、どんなに惨めな失敗であれ、もはや変えることのできないただの記録に過ぎない。そこから教訓を学ぶことは大切だ。しかしいつまでもその感情に浸り続け心を縛り付けておくのは牢獄に自ら進んで入っていくようなものだ。未来というものも突き詰めればまだ存在しない不確かな幻想に過ぎない。もちろん計画を立て目標を持つことは重要だ。しかしその結果を過度に心配し心を悩ませるのはまだ来ぬ客人のために今食べるべき食事を我慢しているような愚かな行為なのだ。運を味方につけたいのなら君の意識のすべてを今この瞬間に集中させるのだ。今目の前にある仕事に全神経をつぎ込む。今目の前にいる人との対話に心を込めて耳を傾ける。今口にしている食事を心から味わい感謝する。これを仏教の言葉で少年という。今この瞬間に心を込めて生きる。この積み重ねが素晴らしい過去を作り、そして輝かしい未来を自動的に引き寄せるのだ。過去を悔やむな、未来を憂うな。ただ今を力強く明るく感謝して生きろ。君の命が最も純粋な輝きを放つのは今この瞬間を置いて他にないのだということをその魂に深く深く刻み込むのだ。さてここまで運に見放される人間がやってしまっているいくつかの無駄な行いについて語ってきた。焦ってジタバタすること、不平不満を言うこと、他人をコントロールしようとすること、そして過去と未来に心を奪われること、これらを今日この瞬間からきっぱりとやめるのだ。これが私が言った何もするなという言葉の真の意味だ。ではいよいよ本題の核心に入ろう。これらの無駄な行いをやめた上で我々は一体何をすべきなのか。何もしない伽藍堂の心でただぼんやりと生きていれば幸運が向こうからやってくるのか。いやそうではない。私が君たちにただ一つやりなさいと命じること、それは君たちの心を積極的なエネルギーで満たすということだ。これだけだ。たったこれだけのことだが、これが人生のすべてを決定づける最も根本的な、そして最も強力な行いなのだ。考えてもみたまえ。真っ暗闇の光一つない部屋があったとする。君がその部屋の闇をどうにかして追い出したいと考えた。ほうきで闇を吐き出そうとしても、ちりとりで闇を救い出そうとしても、あるいは大声で闇を出ていけと叫んでみても、闇はびくともしないだろう。闇を追い出すための直接的な努力などこの世には存在しないのだ。ではどうすればその部屋から闇を消し去ることができるのか。答えは火を灯すことだ。たった一本のマッチでもいい。小さなろうそくに火を灯すだけでいい。その光が灯った瞬間、あれほど頑固に居座っていた闇は一瞬にして跡形もなく消え去ってしまうのだ。闇と光は同時に存在することはできないからだ。 我々の心もこの部屋と全く同じなのだ。不安、恐怖、憎しみ、嫉妬、悲しみといった消極的な感情はこの部屋の闇だ。多くの人間はこの心の闇を何とかしてなくそうともがき苦しんでいる。不安を忘れようと酒を飲んだり娯楽に溺れたりする。憎しみを消そうと無理やり自分に相手を許せと言い聞かせようとする。だがそれは闇をほうきで吐き出そうとするのと同じ無駄な努力なのだ。闇そのものと戦ってはいけない。我々がやるべきことはただ一つ、心の中に光を灯すことだ。その光こそが積極的な心なのだ。喜び、感謝、愛、希望、勇気、信念、これらの明るく、温かく、力強い感情で心を満たすことだ。心に積極という光が灯れば、消極という闇は抵抗することすらできずに自然と消え去っていくのだ。これが宇宙の根本原理であり、私が生涯をかけて説き続けた心身統一法のまさに核心なのだ。問題が起きたとき、その問題そのものをどうにかしようとジタバタするのではない。まず、自分の心を積極的な状態に切り替えるのだ。どんな絶望的な状況に見えても、必ず道はある。と信じる。どんなに憎い相手がいても、その存在にすら感謝できる点を見つけ出す。どんなに体調が悪くとも、自分の内にある生命力を絶対的に信頼する。しかし天風先生、言うは易し、行う歯がたしです。そう簡単に心を切り替えることなどできません。という声が聞こえてきそうだ。甘ったれるな。と、私はここで一喝したい。君たちは、自分の心の主は誰だと思っているのだ。上司かね、友人かね、それともテレビのコメンテーターかね。違うだろう。君の心の主は他の誰でもない。君自身なのだ。君には自分の心をどんな状態に置くかを自由に選択する権利と力があるのだ。その人間に与えられた最も尊い力を自ら放棄してどうするのだ。心を積極にするための方法は実に簡単だ。まず姿勢を正すことだ。胸を張り顔を上げ少し口角を上げてみることだ。形が心を作る。うなだれた姿勢で積極的な心を維持することなど誰にもできはしない。次に言葉を変えることだ。疲れた、もうダメだという言葉を今日限り君の辞書から追放するのだ。代わりに充実している、まだまだこれからだという力強い言葉を意識して使うのだ。そして呼吸を整えることだ。深くゆっくりとした呼吸は乱れた心を鎮め、本来の落ち着きと力を取り戻させてくれる。姿勢、言葉、呼吸、この3つを意識的に変えるだけで君の心の状態は劇的に変わるのだ。誰にでも今すぐこの場所でできることではないか。いいか、諸君、運命とは誰かに与えられるものではない。運命とは君自身の心が作り出すものなのだ。君がその心を積極という明るく強く清らかなエネルギーで満たし続けたとき、運命の女神は君に微笑みかけざるを得なくなる。なぜなら幸運というものもまた積極的なエネルギーの一種であり、同じ種類のエネルギーと強く引き合う性質を持っているからだ。君が太陽のように輝けば、その光に引き寄せられて幸運の惑星たちが君の周りを回り始めるのだ。これが私が生涯をかけて掴み取った揺るがすことのできない人生の真理なのだ。さあ、私の話ももう終わりに近づいてきた。今日私が語ったことは決して難しい哲学談義ではない。明日からではない。今この瞬間から君が実践できる具体的で力強い人生の法則だ。もう一度繰り返そう。運を味方につけたいのなら今すぐ無駄な行いを一切やめるのだ。不安に駆られてジタバタするのをやめよう。不平不満を口にするのをやめよう。他人を 自分の思い通りにしようとするのをやめよ。そして、過ぎ去った過去と、まだ来ぬ未来に、心をとらわれるのを、やめるのだ。その代わりに、君の持てる力のすべてを、たった一つのことに集中させなさい。それは、君自身の心を、積極的なエネルギーで満たすことだ。どんな時でも、感謝の心を持つこと。どんな時でも、自分と、自分の内なる力を、絶対的に信じること。そして、常に、明るく、朗らかに、生きることだ。君たちは、自分が思っているような、無力で、弱い存在などでは断じてない。君たち一人一人の内側には、この大宇宙を創造した、無限の力が、源として、宿っているのだ。その力を、引き出すか、引き出さないか、その鍵を握っているのが、君たちの、心一つの置き方なのだ。さあ、顔を上げなさい。胸を張りなさい。そして、心の底から、こう宣言するのだ。私の人生は、今日、この瞬間から、新しく始まるのだと。君が、本気でそう決意し、心の態度を改め、積極の光を灯したその瞬間から、君の運命は、間違いなく、好転し始める。これまで、君を悩ませてきた、あらゆる問題は、夜明けの光に照らされた朝霧のように、静かに消え去っていくだろう。そして、君の行く手には、これまで想像すらできなかったような、光り輝く、希望に満ちた道が、どこまでも、続いているのだ。私、中村天風が、それを、絶対的に保証する。君の健闘を、心から、祈っているぞ。
Working for money is like motivation as compared to inspiration. Working for money is the action part. And certainly there's always action involved in the allowing of money into your experience. We're not trying to guide you away from action. Doing is really fun. Doing in the flow is way more fun, though, than doing not in the flow. And doing because you can't stop yourself from doing it because the momentum is such is way more fun and way more productive than doing it because it needs to be done. But of course you want action. Action is this manifested point out here on the leading edge. Action is way fun. You just want to do it from a vibrational aligned standpoint, not from a vibrational misaligned standpoint. That's all. Action from the path of least resistance, not action from a path of more resistance. If the emphasis is on the energy work, the alignment work, and then the inspired action, then that's a whole different thing than working for money. What we're talking about is this movement from the vortex where it's unseen into the bank account where it is seen. In other words, this transfer from vibration into material. And we want you to understand there is an infinite array of ways that you are not even considering, that you couldn't even possibly consider. In other words, at best, you can make a bulky general list, but when you get tuned into this and the ideas start flowing, the flow of energy and the flow of economics, the flow of prosperity, unlimited resources. Look even at your economics of today and think about how robust it is in comparison with 100 years ago. And 100 years ago, no one could have conceived of the avenues through which the abundance flows, or the height to which the abundance has swollen, or the degree to which the abundance affects the details of your life experience, you see. So let's not make a puny little list. Let's just call it unlimited and open ourselves to the ideas that are ripe for the plucking now. I'm going to accept the unlimitedness of it. I'm going to accept the ripeness of ideas that I'm about to receive. It's hard for a doer, isn't it? It's hard for somebody who's used to just getting in and doing it. And it's annoying when you do and others don't do. But those who are really doing aren't doing. Those that are really receiving have got this vibrational flow going. Now just answer this as you believe it to be. There's only a slight trap here for you. But answer this as you believe it to be. Do you believe that currently your prosperity, and we're talking about financial prosperity, do you believe right now that your financial prosperity is tied to your action? Because most of you would say, well, this is how I earn my living. I exchange this action for this income. And so let us lay the trap a little tighter for you. If you stopped doing today what you've been doing, would your money flow tomorrow the way it's been flowing? If you didn't go to work tomorrow, would your money flow? And if you didn't go to work tomorrow, for those of you who, if you don't go to work tomorrow and don't do what you usually do, and your money doesn't flow, then what? Then what? In other words, does your money feel dependent on your action? Yes. So, thank you for being honest. Well, for most, that's normal in your economy of today, isn't it? That you have trained yourself or been hired to do something in exchange, or you've positioned yourself to do something in exchange. Economics is about that, isn't it? It's about providing service for one another. Aren't your economics all about your interaction with each other? Here's another question for you. If there was no one else on the planet, would your business or means of making money be necessary? If there were no one else to participate with you in any way, goods or services, would there be any reason for you to provide them? Can you step back far enough to acknowledge that your interaction with one another is what the basis of the economics is all about? Can you step far enough back to acknowledge that economy rests on, rides on, depends on, at the basis of is serving one another in some way? Do you believe that the ways to serve one another have all been figured out? Do you believe that there are desires in the ethers, on the minds, the lips, the hopes and dreams of the masses that are still to be discovered? Do you believe that you have the ability to position yourself as you choose to be the beneficiary of the satisfaction of serving others? We tricked you, didn't we? Because what we want you to embrace first is that your economics and how they flow to you are about the energy that you are flowing outward to others. In other words, it's what you're offering, what you're receiving and what you're offering are the same. They are vibrationally equivalent. And if you can think in terms of the service that you're offering, now we offer that word carefully because you misunderstand it every time someone uses the word. But in this conversation that we're having, where we've agreed that economics is all about serving one another, in other words, it's what it all is, then as you acknowledge that your contribution, what you are offering to this mix, is of value to others, once you go there, now your understanding of economics is in a whole new place that can serve you in a whole new way. So now we'll ask you, are you there yet? Do you acknowledge that it is your service to others? So now, in what ways do you serve others? You serve others by getting energy flowing. You serve others by tapping into the stream of infinite intelligence. You serve others by tuning in, tapping in to the frequency, this high power frequency. You serve others by understanding the path of least resistance. You serve others by tapping in, not just to infinite intelligence, but to infinite prosperity, to infinite abundance of energy, to infinite ideas. If you're serving others, then isn't it the idea that really is at the basis of most service, you see? When you loosen up these cobwebs and you start acknowledging that you could be in the right place at the right time, in more conversations, in more opportunities to uplift, if you would put your attention upon the energy that you're receiving, which then you will be flowing. But here's the most interesting thing about economics. We already said it to you, but we're going to say it to you again. You don't get it until you give it, because it is the asking for it that summons it. So when you get into an attitude of service, which is asking for it on the behalf of others, now you open a really big portal, a really big vortex of abundance, you see. And that's really the place that you want to start with all of this. In what ways can I be of value to others? Now let's start generally. Are you of more value to others when you are ornery or happy? Well, that's not a difficult thing to understand, and yet it's usually not a question that you ask in relationship to economics, is it? Because you're thinking in terms of your action, not in terms of your attitude. But your attitude, your mood, your vibration is everything in terms of what you receive and in terms of what you give, you see. So if you're thinking in terms of being the portal through which all of this flows, do you acknowledge that the world is out there asking? Do you acknowledge that their life experiences are what are causing them to identify what the next economic booms will be? Do you know that there are economic booms in the vortex right now that haven't even been discovered by those who will feel the inspiration to provide the response to the boom that is being asked for? So, does it overwhelm you to think about being the creative genius that is inspired to that? We're not asking all of you to be the next Bill Gates, but why not? We're not asking you to be the next innovator of the next big invention, but why not? But what we are asking you to do is acknowledge that there is infinite energy flowing, and enough abundance will flow to serve you in the way that you are wanting to be served once you get into this flow of economics. It's all about energy, you see. As much money is coming to you, we're saying money, financial abundance is coming to you as you are asking for and allowing. But what's interesting, you're motivating yourself to the asking rather than inspiring yourself to the asking. So it's not a clear, open thing that's going on, because in the worrying about what you're going to do with it or where it's going to come from, you block the flow of it. So if you could just concentrate on the fact that the flow exists and on the fact that there is a path of least resistance that is available to you right here and now, if you could just acknowledge that you have the ability to get on this path and you have the ability to receive the flow, instead of worrying about where it's going to be, when it's going to be, who's going to bring it, where it's going to come from, how long it's going to last, how big it's going to be. When you ask those questions that make you wobble, then you don't do either one of those two things. You don't hook up to the energy and you don't flow it towards something that is meaningful to you. That was a big economic discussion, but how does it translate into something that you do something about? It doesn't translate into how you do something about it. It translates into how you feel about money. You got to feel like there's plenty of it out there and there's a lot of it earmarked for you. You got to feel that way, because it is that way. And then you got to figure out how to figure out. You got to figure out how you got to figure out. You got to feel your way to it, and it's on the path of least resistance. It's not on the path of hardship. It's not on the path of struggle. It's not on the path of determination or effort. It's not on the path of motivation. It's on the path of inspiration. You got to tune into the path, you see, to the path of inspiration. So we have some questions for you. We asked you some earlier. You were quiet about it. We want you to be more bold in your response now. Do you believe in infinite intelligence? Yes. And do you believe in infinite abundance? Yes. And do you believe that you've carved out a path of abundance for yourself? Yes. Do you understand that your vortex holds that path? Yes. Do you believe that the path will be inspired to you? Yes. Do you think you'll get there with worry? No. How are you going to get there? How are you going to find the trail? How are you going to find that path? You're going to worry your way to it? You're going to struggle your way to it? What do you want to do? What do you like to do? Do you believe that you can serve doing something that's fun to do? Do you believe that you can find satisfaction in what you do? Do you believe that you know what some of those things are? Do you believe that they're queued up and in your vortex already? Do you believe that there's a path already laid out for you that you're just reaching for the inspiration to? Yeah. So how do you find that path? This is the question of all questions. How do you find the path? Think about it. How do you find the path? You don't find the path finds you. It's an inspired path. It's not a motivated path. The path will find you. But you got to stay in that general place. You got to be in that place. You've got to highlight within you what matters to you. I like freedom, and I like fun, and I like inspiration. I like great ideas, and I like being of value. And I like sniffing out the trail, and I like following the trail, and I like where the trail leads. The path will find you. You've just got to do the wobble-free work, you see. The path will find you. But you got to put yourself in the place of receiving the inheritance. Sometimes the inheritance comes in the form of money deposited right to your account, and you all think, yeah, that's the method I choose. But sometimes it comes in the form of an idea. Sometimes it comes in the form of a collective experience with others. And depending upon who you are and what you want, it will satisfy all of those things, you see. And so when we said the path will find you, the path has already found you. It's just an eternally unfolding path. It will continue to surprise and delight you, you see. You just got to decide that you want to feel good and that you want to have fun, and what matters to you is this. That's the abundance that is yours. That's the inheritance that's there for you. And the question is, are you ready? Are you ready? Do you really love yourself? Have you practiced that? How much do you love life? Because that's what opens to you, you see. Yeah. Life does keep happening, doesn't it? Because life keeps responding to vibrations that are already in motion, to patterns of vibration. That's what a belief is, you know. A belief is a pattern of vibration. Are you getting clear with the understanding that you are a vibrational being continuously offering vibration, and that the law of attraction is responding to your vibration and then matching you up with vibrational equivalency? In other words, you get what you think about whether you want it or not. And that's hard to take until you've got control of your thoughts. And you know what? You're never going to have control of your thoughts, not completely. Because you are here in an environment of contrast to which you are responding. You just can't be in this world that is manifested, and by that we mean you can see and hear and smell and taste and touch, which means you are interpreting vibration into those physical, sensual awarenesses. And so you're having exposure to experiences to which you are having reactions. And sometimes those reactions, even if you don't say something out loud, your reactions are vibrational. In other words, sometimes you see something and it makes you flinch or wish it were otherwise. And so that's what we mean when we say it's not uncommon, it's not abnormal to react as life comes. But you want to keep that to a minimum. You want to be less of a reactor and more of an actor, more of a getting out ahead of it, more of a establishing your vibrational stance so that you're steady in a contrasting environment. And then life is really fun, even in contrasting environments. You don't mind a little contrast. In fact, we know you like the drama. You do. You like to be enlivened. You like a good problem to solve. You like questions to which you are seeking answers. It's all part of your evolution. It's all part of the expansion of the universe. It's part of the evolution of all things, all species, all that is. But you do want to have some sense of how it works so that you have some measure, in fact, from our perspective, a large measure of creative control. And that's what we are about. We are here to help you to understand the laws of the universe. We're here to help you understand who you really are and how you fit into all of this. We want to help you to embrace, not just tolerate, not just accept the diversity that surrounds you, but embrace it. Embrace it. Acknowledge the value of its existence. Because out of contrast, out of knowing what you don't want, is born your focused, keyword, your focused clarity about what you do want. So the only thing that ever feels like it's going wrong with you is when life gives you focused clarity, but you don't focus on the clarity. Life gives you focused clarity about what you do want, but you stay focused on what you don't want. And that's a sort of human trait. It doesn't serve you very well, where you stay way too long focused upon the problem, trying to get to the bottom of the problem, when the vibration of the problem and the vibration of the solution are really different vibrational frequencies. The vibration of a question and the vibration of an answer is a very different frequency. So sometimes when you're focused upon the problem, you want to poke at it more to make it bigger. That's okay, because when you make the problem bigger, you make the solution bigger. In fact, they're always equivalent. Problems and solutions are equivalent vibrationally. Different vibrations, but equivalent in velocity, so to speak. You see what we're getting at? So if you sort of don't like that, then you sort of prefer this. And it's sort of boring. But if you sort of don't like it and you don't do anything about cleaning it up, it'll get bigger. So you really don't like it, and then you really want something different. Now there's something you can get your teeth in. Now you can feel the solution. Now you might say in human terms, oh, that problem's worth me working on. A problem that's just, you're lazy. We love you so much, but we get it. You don't want to make mountains out of molehills. You don't want to exaggerate something, but here's how it works. If something's bothering you and you don't figure out what you desire, and then through practiced thought, train your vibration or accomplish a belief that matches your desire, so that there's no daylight, so to speak, so that there's no vibrational variance between your desire and your belief, then you're always going to have that sort of edgy feeling. When you want something and you yourself are vibrationally opposed to it, it's uncomfortable. Do you have a friend or someone you know, and there's a subject that you both come to often, and so you discuss it fairly frequently, and you have opposing points of view? And with this friend or acquaintance, do you ever state your case, which just causes your friend to state their case, which rarely convinces you, just makes you make your case stronger, which rarely convinces them, just makes them make their case stronger? You got any friends like that? So you just keep getting more and more tense when you're on that subject. You know what we're talking about? Well, we would like you to understand that you're doing that just with you all the time. It's you and you. It's your desires and your beliefs at odds, just like that. I want this, but, you say. And the more you say you want it, often the more you but it. And the more you but it, the more you launch rockets of desire. So your desire gets stronger, and often so does your resistance. Don't do that. Other than the increased drama, you really like to conquer things, so you make big problems so that you can conquer them, so that you can claim you've conquered them. And we say, it is a form of creation, it's just going about it the hard way, don't you think? We would like to proclaim to you that you've lived enough life, you've reacted to enough experience, that you have managed to create a vibrational reality that, while it has not manifested, it exists and is real and is working for you. It's there for you, and you can sense it and feel it, even though you may not yet be able to see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, and touch it. And because you're human, that's a good thing. Because you're human, you focus mostly on what you can see and hear and smell and taste and touch. So you don't get too excited about sensing something that's in the becoming. If you were in your field and you had tilled your soil, which you're doing all the time with the life experience that you're living, and you plant your kernel of corn in your fertile field. As soon as you put it in the ground, you don't say, I'm waiting. You don't say, okay, I'll give you 10 minutes. You don't stomp on the ground impatiently, because you understand that there is a gestation process. You understand that there is a process, and you know that you've put it there, and as you're tending to it, it will do what it naturally does. It will produce a stalk. It will produce ears of corn. It will produce what you want it to, but there is a process that it will undergo. And in that situation, you are not impatient about it, because you have a certain understanding from what you've witnessed. And yet, with your kernels and seeds that you've put into your vortex, that's what we call your vibrational reality, your vortex of creation, this vibrational atmosphere that contains all the rockets of desire that you've launched, this vibrational place where your inner being stands, the part of you that existed before your birth and still exists aware of you, non-physically focused. This vibrational reality is like the womb in the mother's belly. It's like the petri dish where something is in the process of becoming. It is a reality that is in such pre-manifestational form that your senses, you see, what you see with your eyes is just a vibrational interpretation. And that vibration has to be pretty significant before most humans are able to interpret it vibrationally. In other words, this reality that feels so real to you is your vibrational interpretation. But because you've been doing it always, you don't say, oh, I'm interpreting vibration and therefore I see this, or I'm interpreting vibration and therefore I smell this. You mostly don't even consider the fact that you vibrationally interpret things different than other species around you. Your dog vibrationally interprets things, so therefore can smell things that you can't or wouldn't want to smell. And you don't say, stop it, you little faker. You accept that the dog is onto something. And so we want you to know that you can be onto things like your dog is onto things. You can get better at vibrationally interpreting things so that you can, we all vibrationally interpreted that. You can get good at vibrationally interpreting things that are in your vortex by using other senses other than your 5 physical senses. You can feel it in your solar plexus. You can understand it with your emotional guidance system. You can know something before you see it. You can sense it before you see it. You can trust it before you see it. You can believe it before you see it. There are 2 ways of knowing how you're doing vibrationally. There are 2 ways of knowing what you are vibrationally accomplishing. One is by the way it feels, and the other is by how it manifests. The manifestation we call post-awareness, post-manifestational. It manifested and then you saw it. Good for you. But what about it being a vibrational manifestation and you being like your dog that can sniff things out even before it shows up? That dog knows what's in the bushes before it gets over there and digs it up. The dog knows where the bone is buried, and not just because he left it there. Often because he left it there. But not only. And so we just want you to be more aware of what you've got going on. We want you to know that you were source energy before you came into these bodies, and that source energy part of you still exists non-physically. And that source energy part of you is aware of you here and now and in all moments in time. And that source energy part of you, we call it your inner being. Sometimes you call it God. We call it your inner being, your inner consciousness, your inner awareness. Sometimes you call it your soul. But it's this non-physical, loving source energy part of you who knows, and this is key, who knows where you stand in terms of your creation in relationship or relative to what you've launched vibrationally and what is in the process of becoming. And there is always more in the process of becoming, because your life is setting it up. When you don't like something, you ask for an improvement, even if you don't use your words. When you're rude, you want to be nicer. When someone else is rude, you want them to be nicer. When you don't have enough of something you need, you ask for it. When you have something you don't want, you ask for the healing or the improvement. You have a vibrational reality of wonderful stuff that is available to you, so much more readily available to you than you mostly allow yourself to let it be, because you want to see it before you believe it, and that's what's hanging you up. You got to sense it, you got to trust it, and that's why we are here, to help you know about the laws of the universe, to appeal to your reasoning powers, to understand that there must be something more than what you see in your physical bodies that this world is about. You're brilliant and you're beautiful, but the whole bunch of you haven't managed to scrape a bunch of Earth together and launch another planet into orbit. There's way more going on than what you are translating with your physical senses, and we want you to get in on that. We want you to feel the whole power of who you are. We want you to be your total being, your total self. We want you to tune yourself to the frequency of who you really are.